Chapter 51. Are you crazy? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing this scene, many conscientious guests expressed sympathy and were very disgusted with Xue Tianyi's shameless behavior, but due to the power of the Xue family, they all chose to ignore it. Hong Qianye's face was cold, and there was a murderous intention surging in her heart. He has no friendship with Li Wujie, and he has no feelings about his sister's death, because the world of cultivation is inherently cruel, and the weak can only be trampled on, and there is no so-called human rights. What's more, during his time in the Central Realm, he had seen countless dark and subversive things, and he had long been accustomed to this kind of thing. The reason Hong Qianye had murderous intentions was simply because she was unhappy with people like Xue Tianyi. Looking at the ancestor of the Xue family, Hong Qianye frowned slightly and suppressed the murderous intention in his heart. After all, he is a virtual immortal-level powerhouse, which is fundamentally different from the Mahayana realm, not to mention that he is only half a step into the Mahayana realm. Humph, sword demon Li Wujie, you are a demonic monk. Why are you barking at my Xue family? The head of the Xue family stood up to defend his son and said righteously, if you ask me, you are just a demon monk. Your sister was used as a furnace by my family Tian'er. This life can be regarded as atonement. Furthermore, your sister has a despicable life. How could you try to kill my Qiliner of the Xue family for her? Just for this, you Li Wujie deserve to die. As soon as this word comes out, Li Wujie lost control of his emotions and yelled, get out. Compare my sister to this beast. You don't deserve it. You are also an old beast. You son of a bitch. Xue Tianyi was filled with indignation and said, shut up. You dare to insult my father. Your sister died in my hands. It was her honor. As for you, a demon monk who everyone calls for beating, do you think you are worthy of speaking nonsense like this? As he spoke, he winked. The men around him understood and shouted. Li Wujie, if your sister is favored by the young master, it's worth her death. Don't you get an advantage and act like a good girl? Support the young master. What a noble status the young master has, that a dirty demonic monk like you can slander. You only lost your sister, but my young master lost a hand. Cries came and went. In the crowd, even some guests who wanted to please the Xue family stood on Xue Tianyi's side and criticized Li Wujie's barbaric behavior. Did you see it? It's clear who is right and who is wrong. The Xue family father and son sneered. As for the ancestor of the Xue family, his face was expressionless and there was no emotion in his heart. You guys. Li Wujie's eyes were split, and he struggled to stand up, but fell down weakly. He was so angry that he spat out a large mouthful of blood, mixed with the broken internal organs. He hates it. I hate myself for being too weak. In the void, Junlin stood with his hands behind his hands and sneered. A person who wants to avenge his sister and acts without any rules is labeled as a demon monk, while a young master with a prominent family background is doing dirty things behind his back. It's ridiculous that you can do sordid things but still have the aura of a righteous monk. Ding, congratulations on triggering the option mission. Option, the host comes forward to protect Li Wujie and accept him as his disciple, and makes the ancestor of the Xue family willing to personally get rid of Xue Tianyi. After the success is achieved, the ancestor of the Xue family will also be grateful to the host and reward him with a supreme boxing technique. Fighting Holy Fist. Option, the host chooses to remain silent in the face of injustice, and will be rewarded with 10 low-grade spiritual crystals. Hear a system beep. Junlin was stunned. What surprised him was not just the triggering of the optional mission, but the content of the optional mission, 10 low-grade spiritual crystals for keeping silent. Damn, that's a huge sum of money. I can't spend it all. Tongzi, I'm going to fuck your whole family, and you're just sending the beggars away. Junlin definitely doesn't like this small amount of money. At the moment, he only has the first option to choose from. Asking him to come forward to protect Li Wujie and accept him as his disciple is actually quite normal from the front, but later on, it gradually became outrageous. The ancestor of the Xue family was willing to kill Xue Tianyi, and then he was grateful to him. What kind of shameless operation was this? At this time, Xue Tian glanced at the heat and showed a cruel smile. Li Wujie, everything is over, please remember more in the next life. He grabbed the long sword from the guard's hand and walked towards Li Wujie step by step, with a murderous look on his face. He wanted to cut off this man's limbs and chop him into meat paste as a warning to others. Hey! Many guests present shook their heads and sighed, there is no way, after all, the arm cannot twist the thigh. Li Wujie said with a sad smile on his face, sister, it's useless for me to be my brother. I will go down to accompany you right now. Just when Xue Tianyi, with a ferocious look on his face, swung his sword down, suddenly a figure in black robe appeared in front of him. He raised his hand and flicked his fingers, and a powerful force burst out, clang. The blade cracked and broke. Xue Tianyi staggered back a few steps and said with a look of astonishment on his face, what do you mean? Everyone reacted and were stunned. It was Yi Junlin who took action. What's going on? The guy from Xiantian's sect actually showed up. Is this to protect the sword demon Li Wujie? He is a demonic monk. Is this the point? The point is that this is the Xue family's territory. Isn't this a slap in the Xue family's face? An uproar suddenly broke out in the crowd. The head of the Xue family looked ugly and said, Master Yi, what do you mean? Why do you want to stop my Tianer from executing this demon cultivator? Yi Junlin flicked his fingers and said calmly, on a whim, I decided to accept this man as my apprentice. If you touch him, you are touching me. Heard, the entire Xue family mansion exploded. Countless people couldn't believe it and almost suspected that they heard it wrong. Is this guy crazy? How dare you say such a thing? Senior, you. Looking at the figure blocking his back, Li Wujie's face was full of shock. As a monk from the eastern region, Li Wujie had of course heard of Yi Junlin's deeds and knew that this was a legendary figure who was in the limelight recently, but what I didn't expect was that this guy dared to risk the disapproval of the world to accept him as his disciple. The ancestor of the Xue family turned gloomy. He had never seen such a crazy descendant dare to be so arrogant under the eyes of his Shuxian. Yi Junlin, you have to think clearly about the consequences. If you leave here now, I can pretend that nothing happened. That the ancestor of the Xue family spoke in a warning tone, exuding a terrifying aura, and the whole sky seemed to be trembling. The monks around him were trembling with fear and turned pale with fear. Not everyone can bear the anger of a virtual immortal. Senior, please leave quickly. I appreciate your kindness. If we are destined in the next life, I will repay you like a cow. Li Wujie said anxiously. At this time, Hong Qianye was also frightened by this sudden scene, with a look of surprise on her delicate and flawless face. What is this guy doing? Does he think he is invincible? All the monks in the world want to betray him. This is a virtual immortal who has transcended the tribulation realm. In Hong Qianye's eyes, if you risk your life to stand up for a stranger because you sympathize with him, this behavior is simply stupid. Yi Junlin thought of something and looked at Hong Qianye playfully. Xiao Hong, why are you still standing there? Why don't you stand with master and protect your new junior brother? That I am your ancestor. Which part of your horse is wrong? If you want to die, don't take this seat. Hong Qianye was unwilling to do so, but due to Yi Junlin's power, she had no choice but to go there silently. Well, children can be taught. Yi Junlin nodded with satisfaction. The corner of Hong Qianye's mouth twitched, and she was so angry that she wanted to kill someone. Humph. You master and disciple, do you really think that my Xue family is easy to bully? The ancestor of the Xue family stared at the cold light, and his roar was like rolling thunder, echoing continuously in the sky thousands of miles away. All the creatures on the floating island were trembling with fear. The anger of Shuxian is like the power of heaven. Boom! Hong Qianye felt the pressure like a mountain on her body, and the mana in her body almost stopped flowing. She gritted her teeth and said, damn it, this is the gap. Zhu Shu won't drink anymore. Shu Shu won't drink anymore. Bai Xiaoxi was frightened out of her dazed state and woke up immediately. At this time, she waved her young hands and shouted with horror on her face. Facing the virtual immortal level oppression, Yi Junlin not only did not feel afraid, but was very excited inside, secretly looking forward to Yes, that's it, attack me now. Whether you can complete the mission is another matter, but upgrading is definitely a sure win. Sudden, the sky turned dark, and another majestic aura rumbled in. Its powerful power eclipsed the mountains and rivers, and forcefully suppressed the ancestor of the Shui family. Who is it? The ancestor of the Shui family said in horror as cold sweat broke out on his forehead. The person who came turned out to be a void immortal, but his aura was even stronger than him. Where is Yi Junlin? The majestic voice was cold and emotionless, coming from the sky. Who's barking? Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows, he felt strong hostility. Chapter 52 The giant Yangxu immortal is coming. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Swish. A powerful figure appeared in the sky, emitting a vast and blazing light, like the golden sun shining on all living beings, with a sense of sanctity and inviolability. In an instant, the monks from all over the eastern region showed shock on their faces, and a feeling of surrender emerged in their hearts. This is much stronger than the momentum brought by the Shui family ancestor. May I ask who this Taoist friend is? The ancestor of the Shui family's eyes were full of fear, and the feeling in his heart was hard to explain. He finally broke through to the void immortal, and wanted to be the best at this banquet, enjoying the worship of monks from all sides, but suddenly a more powerful person appeared and stole all his limelight. The most uncomfortable thing is that the opponent's cultivation level is similar to his own, and he is also in the early stage of transcending the tribulation of the new promotion, but the difference in momentum between the two makes him feel more like a fake and shoddy product. In the sky, the golden sun was getting closer and closer, as if it were the second sun in the world, emitting countless rays of light that made many island residents thirsty and unable to open their eyes. Senior, quickly collect your magical powers. Begging for mercy sounded one after another. Everyone felt it was so dazzling that even their souls were about to be burned. This kind of light seems to contain some kind of disruptive substance, and is specifically aimed at the monks who are present. Damn! Who is showing off? Yi Junlin took out his special sunglasses and put them on himself, and then he could barely see clearly the figure shrouded in the sun. It was a middle-aged man wearing a golden robe, with thick golden hair tied into dense braids, hanging down on his chest and behind, and his whole body was filled with an unfathomable aura of destruction. I come from the Yuhua sect, and my Taoist name is Zhu Yang. The magnificent and majestic voice echoed in the sky, as if the gods above the 9 heavens were transmitting their voice. As soon as this word comes out, many people's expressions change drastically. I know that he is known as the most powerful sage in the Yuhua sect, and it is said that he is also the master of the holy son of the Yuhua sect. Master Zhu Yang. No. Now we have to call him Zhu Yang Shuxian. Now that he has come to the door, it can be seen that he wants to take action himself. Yi Junlin may be in danger. That the ancestor of the Shui family suddenly realized it and sneered secretly in his heart. Yi Junlin of Xiantian's sect is really digging his own grave. It seems that I don't need to personally take action. This son will be blamed here today. This is fine. The responsibility lies entirely with the Yuhua sect, and my Shui family can be completely wiped out. Thoughts turn. Looking at the radiant golden figure, the ancestor of the Shui family tried to build a relationship, and said with a smile on his face, "Congratulations to fellow Taoist for breaking through the tribulation, and being in the realm of virtual immortals like me. I am here to see Yi Junlin. I heard that he is also coming to attend your Shui family's banquet." Zhu Yang Shuxian said coldly, not paying attention to the ancestor of the Shui family at all. In his opinion, even though they were both virtual immortals, the difference in strength was huge, and the ancestor of the Shui family was just a third-rate thing. Yes, this person is also present. Fellow Taoist, just deal with private matters. Seeing this, the ancestor of the Shui family laughed a few times, feeling very unhappy in his heart, but he could only endure it, because he can feel that Zhu Yang Shuxian is very, very strong. The guests looked at each other, knowing that someone had leaked the news. Yi Junlin looked indifferent. Wearing big sunglasses, he raised his middle finger directly at the golden figure in the sky and said arrogantly, "Master, I am right here. What are you doing?" Heard, the guests' expressions were horrified, and they looked at Yi Junlin as if they were crazy. With a crash, the originally dense crowd dispersed like frightened birds and beasts, and stayed away from Yi Junlin like a god avoiding the plague. Even Li Wujie, who was lying on the ground, felt numb and thought about whether to crawl. Further away, he thought he had been crazy enough since his debut, but compared to this one, he really pales in comparison. It's over. Hong Qianye murmured as she froze on the ground. The ancestor of the Shui family has not been solved yet, and now there is another existence stronger than him. It will be difficult not to die now, right? Boom! A destructive beam of light penetrated the vast sky. Zhu Yangxu's face was full of anger, his golden hair was flying messily, and his eyes were as bright as the scorching sun, making it difficult to look directly at him. Yi! Jun! Lin! Angry shouts resounded from all directions, and the entire floating island group was shaking violently. Many men, women, and children had eardrums stinging, blood slowly flowing out, and their faces rolling on the ground in pain. Faced with a terrifying momentum, Yi Junlin picked his ears and shouted impatiently, "What do you call a dog? I ask you, what do you call a dog? Bastard, you die now." Zhu Yangxu fell into a state of rage. He raised his hand to condense a golden ball of light, and then struck it out decisively. Swish! The golden ball of light expanded rapidly in the air, emitting a blazing and dazzling light. There were countless runes intertwined throughout the body, and it fell towards Yi Junlin's location like the sun. The pressure that surged like a wave enveloped 100 miles in radius. Not good. The golden ball of light in front of him quickly enlarged, and Hong Qianye felt chills all over his body. He wanted to retreat, but found it difficult to break free, as if the surrounding space was blocked. This is the power of Shuxian. Fellow Taoist, you. The ancestor of the Shui family who was watching the show twitched his mouth. If this golden ball of light fell, would the Shui family's mansion still be there? But in the current situation, we can only let the other party kill people to vent their anger. Rumble. The huge golden ball of light above his head quickly approached, and Yi Junlin suddenly felt that the blood in his body was on fire. Ding! It is detected that the host encounters an attack from an enemy in the early stage of the tribulation realm. Now it triggers the passive effect of becoming stronger when encountering strong ones, and gains the cultivation level of the mid-stage tribulation realm. As the system beeps sound, an extremely powerful cultivation energy erupted like a volcano, and Yi Junlin's whole person underwent earth-shaking changes. The skin all over his body is as lustrous as white jade, and he looks extremely noble. His eyes are filled with radiant light, as if they contain the stars of the universe. That long silver-white hair, each hair strand is crystal clear, like a gorgeous galaxy hanging upside down. At this time, the young man in black robe exudes an ethereal temperament like a celestial being. You are also a void immortal. Sensing this terrifying aura, Hong Qianye's head buzzed and she said in disbelief. Tips for carving insects. Yi Junlin raised his hand with a sneer and flicked his fingers lightly. Boom. An invisible terrifying force burst out instantly, flicking the huge golden light ball out like a glass ball. What? Zhu Yangxu's eyes suddenly popped out and he lost his voice. Rumbling, the golden ball of light exploded in the air. The hot and bright light group overwhelmed him, and the terrifying energy flow raged. Seeing this scene, everyone froze in place like clay sculptures, their mouths opened wide, and their expressions were full of incredulity. Chapter 53 Compare whose one is harder. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What? The cultivation level in the middle stage of the tribulation. The ancestor of the Shui family was stunned, and his heart was shaking wildly. This person is silent, but his cultivation level is actually higher than him. The Shui family father and son felt as if they had fallen into an ice cellar, their faces turned pale with fear, and they said in a trembling voice, Void immortal? How can he be a virtual immortal? Especially Shui Tianyi's mentality collapsed. The reason why he felt that his status was nobler than that of Yi Junlin was all because of the Shui family ancestor who was at the void immortal level behind him. Unexpectedly, he himself is a virtual immortal. The guests were stunned and their cognition was greatly impacted. Damn it! Yi Junlin is not actually a venerable person, but a profound virtual immortal. No wonder he was so crazy just now. It turns out he is confident. He's fooling everyone. If there wasn't this banquet today, how long would he have to hide it? If you ask me, Yuhua sect is definitely the worst victim, that the monks from all over the eastern region were shocked by Yi Junlin's true cultivation level, and at the same time expressed their condolences to the Zhou Yangxu immortal who came to visit him. Swish. The light group was instantly annihilated, and a golden figure stood in the void. Zhou Yangxuxian's golden hair was dancing wildly, his eyes were fixed on Yi Junlin, and his facial muscles were twitching crazily. Is this treating him like a monkey? He was already in the middle stage of transcending the tribulation, yet he pretended to be a Mahayana monk and deceived the entire Ascension sect. Zhou Yangxuxian, who had broken through the tribulation a while ago, after hearing about the recent blows suffered by his sect, wanted to take the opportunity of this Shui family banquet to get rid of this serious problem with thunderous means. After all, for a dignified immortal, wouldn't it be easy to deal with the venerable? Whoever thought it was, it backfired, and his real cultivation level was higher than his. Careless. The Zhou Yangxu immortal got angrier and angrier as he thought about it, and angrily shouted, "Shameless person. You have the cultivation level of a Su immortal and you are still secretive. You have completely disgraced the face of our monks. It's unfair. I just broke through. I was really in the Mahayana realm before, I can swear to God." Yi Junlin said with sincerity and vows. "It's full of nonsense. Do you think I am a 3-year-old child?" Zhou Yangxuxian was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He had never heard such a clumsy lie. "Hey, forget it if you don't believe me." Yi Junlin shrugged and said helplessly. Everyone's mouths twitched, feeling ashamed at the silver-haired young man's thick skin. Roar! At this time, Zhou Yangxuxian let out a long roar, releasing countless rays of light all over his body, and then accumulated strength to make a menacing golden palm print, which contained terrifying energy fluctuations. Swish. A golden palm print about 1,000 feet wide appeared in the sky, with countless golden runes intertwined throughout the body. There is also a supergiant ball of light suspended in the palm of the hand. The vast heat flow is overwhelming and makes people's mouth go dry. As a result, Yi Junlin folded his arms and stood motionless in the face of the offensive, with a playful smile on his lips. Die. Zhou Yangxuxian saw that the other party was so interested and did not take him seriously, and his inner anger became even more intense. His face was full of murderous intent and he roared, rumbling. The explosion of light was dazzling, and the energy flow disrupted the entire sky. The ancestor of the Shui family was sweating on his forehead. It was also the early stage of the tribulation realm. How could the gap between people be so big? With this move alone, it would be very disastrous for him to take it head-on. What's more, if you stand still and get beaten, it will definitely evaporate on the spot. Humph, you are arrogant just because of your high level of cultivation. You deserve to suffer at the hands of fellow Taoist Zhuyang. That the ancestor of the Shui family sneered, but in the next second, his eyes were bigger than a bell, and he lost his voice. How is this possible? That I saw Yi Junlin still standing in the void with his arms folded, the smoke all over his body dissipating, without any scars or injuries. Sorry, no blood loss at all. A weakling wants to kill me offline. Yi Junlin sneered. With the blessing of the immortal hegemon body technique and his superior cultivation, his physical defense is extremely terrifying. If it were an ordinary monk in the middle stage of transcending the tribulation, he would definitely be severely injured if he took this killing move. Zhou Yangxuxian was shocked and angry. The move just now had no water at all, and it was actually blocked by the opponent's body. Suddenly, the assessment of Yi Junlin's strength rose to a new level. Sun Wheel. The giant young void immortal raised his hand, and a metal ring made of pure red gold appeared. Under the surging infusion of mana, it emitted such a bright light, like a brilliant sun. This is a rare mysterious weapon. Although it is only the lowest grade among the mysterious weapons, it is far better than the total of 9th grade spiritual weapons. You must know that once a spiritual weapon is promoted to a mysterious weapon, it is like the difference between a loach and a dragon. The two are not at the same level at all. This mysterious weapon that the sect has worked hard to create must be handled carefully even by the monks in the late stages of transcending the tribulation. I want to see if you are stronger or I am stronger. The giant Yangxu smiled ferociously and used all his strength to activate the sun wheel. With a buzzing sound, the sun's rays bloomed with immeasurable light, tearing through the void and slashing towards Yi Junlin. Ha ha! Yi Junlin sneered, secretly running the immortal hegemonic body technique. Boom, the momentum all over his body instantly towered like a mountain, and the white gang chi rose into the sky like a tsunami. Clang, clang, clang. A harsh clang echoed, the sun's disk rotated rapidly, but Yi Junlin raised his arm to block it. Large balls of flowing fire fell, burning the earth for 3 days and 3 nights. The picture is truly spectacular and dazzling. Damn it, I don't believe you are so tough. Zhou Yangxu roared angrily. Swish. The sun's rays shot out a blazing light, its power instantly intensified significantly, containing indestructible power, and struck Yi Junlin's head hard. The scorching wind roared in, and when he felt the sharp tearing force, Yi Junlin's eyes narrowed slightly, and he felt a little more serious about it. He raised his hands, like pliers, and grasped the rapidly rotating sun disk. Sparking sparks. See this scene. The monks from various sects were dumbfounded. Is this horse still a human being? Dare to take the mysterious weapon with your bare hands. Could this guy be a transformed ancient beast? The ancestor of the Shui family murmured, breaking into a cold sweat. With such a terrifying defensive power, he would have been twisted into bloody foam by the sun. How is this possible? Zhou Yangxu's expression changed drastically. You can't envy my hardness, Yi Junlin said a little proudly, having a rough judgment on his current physical level. Boom. He gathered strength and punched out hard, knocking the sun chakra straight out. The sun will was forced to return to the hands of Zhou Yangxu. At this time, Zhou Yangxu's heart was filled with shock. This is a mysterious weapon second only to the immortal weapon. The power contained in it is extremely terrifying. It is a great killing weapon specially targeted at the monks in the tribulation realm. As a result, the opponent was able to resist with his flesh and blood. He has never seen such a hard person. Yi Junlin shook his head and sighed. Hey, for the sake of helping me break through, I can give you another chance to risk your life. Heard, Zhou Yangxu only felt that he had been played, and he felt a sense of shame that his self-esteem had been trampled on. His body exuded a violent and terrifying evil spirit, and his eyes were bloodshot and red, which was particularly scary. Yi Junlin. I will fight you until death. Buzz. Silver white lines began to appear on the skin, and the silver luster was extremely bright and dazzling. Zhou Yangxu's whole body was filled with a sacred aura, and it seemed that he would soar into the sky in the next second. Oh. I know this move of yours, it's called the flying feather technique. Yi Junlin joked. Shut up. You are not allowed to insult my secret method of the Yuhua sect. Zhou Yangxu shouted angrily with his eyes almost spitting fire. At this time, he had an inverted triangle pattern on his forehead, his eyes flashed with silver light, and his aura was much stronger than before. Kill! A loud roar, the sun disk burst out with thousands of rays of light, spinning rapidly and splitting into thousands of shadows, covering Yi Junlin like a whirlpool. At this moment, Yi Junlin really felt the threat. He mobilized the surging magic power in his body, raised his hand to display the seal of the human king, and defeated a large number of rays of the sun. Then, go towards Zhou Yangxu to suppress it. Don't even think about it. Zhou Yangxu roared hysterically and tried his best to resist the mark. Every pore in his body was emitting brilliant golden light. Rumble. The seal of the human king was offset. 9 days of burning the sky. Zhou Yangxu was covered in blood, his expression was twisted like crazy, and he was desperately mobilizing the feathering and ascension technique. His skin covered with lines gradually became a little cracked, but the power he gained in exchange was unimaginable. Well, round after round of golden suns were rising across the sky, as if 9 rounds of scorching suns suddenly appeared in the sky, spreading endless light all over the earth, creating a monstrous heat wave. Ah! Countless residents on the island were covered in smoke and wailed miserably. Zhou Yangxu Immortal is going to fight for his life. Many guests' scalps were numb, and they quickly used their magic weapons to resist the light's red roasting. I admit that you are very strong, but if I use this trick, how should you deal with it? Zhu Yangxu said with a cruel smile. Chapter 54 Top Understanding. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This is his most powerful skill, and with the blessing of the sect's secret method, he will definitely have few opponents within the tribulation realm. The 9-round golden sun was suspended in the sky, and the feeling of oppression was overwhelming and frightening. Open your dog eyes and take a good look. Yi Junlin seemed to be smiling, and slowly raised his hand above his head. A large ball of 5-color light condensed instantly, and then expanded at an incredible speed, boom. A vast and boundless 5-color divine sun rises from the sky. The 5-color light shines for eternity and is eternal. The great destruction technique of the 5 extremes of reincarnation. This. Zhu Yangxu's face was shocked, but soon it was taken over by ferocity. His face was twisted and veins popped out, and the blood all over his body was burning. He roared, "Today, either you die or I live." As soon as he finished speaking, 9 rounds of golden light balls covering the sky were crushed away. Are you worthy? Yi Junlin sneered and shot the 5-color light ball in his hand. The 5-color ball of light carried a huge power, and the light was so bright that it began to collide with the 9 rounds of golden light balls, boom. The 5-color divine light is like a vast sea, swallowing up the golden light balls one by one, and the boundless energy spreads toward the giant Yangxu. Seeing this scene, Zhu Yangxu was stunned at first, then pulled his hair with both hands, and laughed crazily. Fake, it's all fake. Who would have thought that a newly promoted void immortal would be struck insane? Soon, in the horrified eyes of countless people, the figure of Zhu Yangxu was swallowed up by the overwhelming 5-color divine light. After a long time, the sky was cloudless and the sun was shining brightly, as if nothing had happened, just like the giant Yangxu that had completely disappeared. Hey, it's not so dazzling after all. Yi Junlin took off his sunglasses and glanced meaningfully at the middle-aged figure. At this time, the ancestor of the Shui family was still immersed in shock, and suddenly noticed Yi Junlin's eyes. He was so frightened that his face turned pale as paper, and shouted at the top of his voice, "Yi Shushan has great magical powers. I admire you very much. Are you kidding me?" Even the powerful cultivator in the tribulation realm, Zhu Yangxu, was easily destroyed by this guy in front of him. With his little strength, how many moves can he block? Don't give in now. Swish. Yi Junlin flashed beside the ancestor of the Shui family, raised his hand and patted his shoulder, saying meaningfully, "Xiao Shui, do you have any objection to the matter of my accepting a disciple just now?" That when the ancestor of the Shui family heard this, he didn't resist at all. Cold sweat broke out on his forehead, and he smiled bitterly. "Yi Shushan, how dare you, little one? Just take him away." Ha ha. Yi Junlin exerted force on his palm, and half of the Shui family ancestor's shoulder cracked, and a huge pain suddenly hit him. Yi Shushan, spare your life, Yi Shushan. The ancestor of the Shui family grimaced in pain and was extremely frightened. Having learned from the past, he did not dare to resist at all, and could only let this silver-haired young man manipulate him as he pleased. My apprentice Li Wujie was bullied like this by your Shui family. As a master, I should vent my anger for him. Do you think it is reasonable? Yi Junlin said lightly. It's reasonable, very reasonable. I just don't know what exactly Yi Shushan wants to do. The ancestor of the Shui family said in a bitter tone, "No way, now he is just a ball of mud and can only be pinched by the other party. I want you to kill the Shui family here with your own hands." Yi Junlin narrowed his eyes slightly, his tone suddenly cold, and the murderous intention revealed made the surrounding temperature drop. What? The ancestor of the Shui family felt like he was struck by lightning. Is this request too much? Yi Junlin said calmly. The ancestor of the Shui family looked extremely ugly. This request was not excessive, it was simply worse than a beast. There are at least tens of millions of Shui clan members living in the floating island group. Now let him, the ancestor, kill them all. Is it outrageous? Yi Shuxian, can you lower your requirements? Many people in the Shui clan are innocent. The ancestor of the Shui family was humbled and begged. Humph. You only lost your tribe, but my apprentice lost his sister. You old guy, do you have any sympathy? Yi Junlin said indignantly. You are right. The muscles on the Shui family ancestor's face twitched. Why did he feel that these words were strange? No matter how big the situation is, now that you have broken through the void immortal and lived for hundreds of thousands of years, is it not enough for you to remarry and have children and spread your business? Yi Junlin continued to threaten. The ancestor of the Shui family looked sad. If he really did this, he would definitely be troubled by inner demons. Can he practice well in the future? Please be kind to Yi Shuxian. I really can't do it, little Shui. The ancestor of the Shui family begged bitterly. Yi Junlin stared at him for a long time, and finally seemed to have made some kind of decision. He looked up to the sky and sighed, shaking his head. Well, who asked me to be reasonable? In this case, then you should get rid of the culprit. Heard, the ancestor of the Shui family was stunned, and then he was ecstatic, and he cupped his hands gratefully and said, Thank you Yi Shuxian. From slaughtering the entire Shui family to atonement by killing just one person, this is definitely the best thing. Then, the ancestor of the Shui family turned his head to look at the middle-aged man in the distance with cold eyes. Ancestor, you. The head of the Shui family looked pale and had an ominous premonition in his heart, because Yi Junlin had already soundproofed the conversation. Everyone outside could only see the surface. At this time, the ancestor of the Shui family decisively reached out his hand and slapped the head of the Shui family into a blood mist on the spot. Homeowner, the Shui family members were horrified. Shui Tianyi was stunned for several seconds. After he came to his senses, he shouted heartbreakingly, Dad. He really didn't expect that his ancestor would suddenly take action and shoot his father to death on the spot. Why? Ancestor, why did you do this? Shui Tian asked with his eyes red. The ancestor of the Shui family ignored him and asked tentatively, Yi Shuxian, are you satisfied? Yi Junlin said with a dark face, You are so satisfied. Are you a pig? I asked you to kill that evil pen. Why did you kill his father? The ancestor of the Shui family looked innocent. You are talking about the culprit. What I am thinking is that the son did not teach his father. Doesn't the responsibility lie with his father? Yi Junlin. Awesome, top-level understanding. Yi Junlin said angrily, Okay, let's make a couple. Please kill him too. Yes. Shui Tianyi, who was still grieving, suddenly felt the huge pressure coming all over his body. The bones in his body were cracking, and his internal organs seemed to be on fire. His face turned the color of pig liver, and his eyes almost fell out. He looked in disbelief. The one who takes action. Why, ancestor, you. Shui Tianyi's 3 views were subverted. He never thought that one day, he would die at the hands of his most proud backer. You bastard, you almost had the whole family buried with you. Death to me. The ancestor of the Shui family's voice was full of disgust, and he clenched his hands violently. Bang. Ah. Shui Tian's whole body exploded, and a large cloud of bright red blood mist floated into the air. Countless people were stunned and felt that the scene in front of them was very magical. Okay, let's cancel the previous matter. Yi Junlin nodded. The ancestor of the Shui family said with gratitude, Thank you Yi Shuxian. On behalf of the entire Shui family, I would like to thank you for your great kindness. At this time. Ha 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 ha. Li Wujie finally solved the knot in his heart over the years. He looked up to the sky and laughed with tears of joy. Sister, did you see it? This beast finally got his comeuppance. Swish, Yi Junlin flashed in front of the blood-covered figure and said with a serious face, Li Wujie, now that the great revenge has been avenged, are you willing to be my apprentice? Li Wujie was stunned and looked at the silver-haired young man. Tears could not stop falling from his face. Perhaps because he was too excited, his voice was trembling. I, Li Wujie, am willing to join your sect. From now on, this miserable life of mine belongs to you. No matter what you want me to do, I will not frown even if I die. If I betray my master, I, Li Wujie, will die without a burial place. The voice contained endless determination, and the tone was extremely sonorous. In full view of everyone, Li Wujie struggled to keep his kneeling position, and willingly knocked his head heavily on the ground, shouting with all his strength, "Disciple Li Wujie, pay homage to the master." Yeah. Yi Junlin smiled. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the mission. You will be rewarded with a supreme boxing technique, the Fighting Holy Fist. The system prompt sounded in my mind. Chapter 55 Activate the Crazy Bloodline. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ding, the host apprentice's qualifications have been detected, and the system provides an upgraded service package for free. Ding, the reward is the Supreme Sword Technique, the Chaos Heavenly Sword Zhou. Ding, I'll reward you with a Qianyuan blood-burning pill, which activates the latent crazy bloodline in the host disciple's body. Crazy Demon Bloodline, an extremely rare physique in all the worlds. The owner can greatly increase the combat power in a short period of time, but the spirit will fall into chaos, like a crazy demon. If it is serious, he will even lose himself and continue to cause killing until life comes to an end. Huh. I didn't expect that I would find a treasure. Yi Junlin was a little surprised. It seems that the reason why Li Wujie behaves arrogantly and without any taboo is because he has the potential of crazy blood. If you activate this bloodline, your strength can soar wildly in a short period of time, but the disadvantage is that it cannot be maintained for a long time. Otherwise your spirit will be seriously affected and you will become a machine that only knows how to destroy and cause killing. Thoughts turn. Yi Junlin stretched out his finger and gently said, "Li Wujie, my master will teach you the new sword technique." Hear this. Li Wujie's breath was stagnant. What he is practicing now is the junior-level swordsmanship, which originated from the swordsmanship inheritance left by a certain Mahayana realm senior, and my new master is in the tribulation realm, so I don't know what level of swordsmanship he will teach. In fact, Li Wujie was a little worried, because in his eyes, Yi Junlin was not a sword cultivator, and he probably knew only a little about the art of swordsmanship. So was there a cognitive gap? After all, as the saying goes, it is called specialization in a profession. But the next second, Li Wujie realized that he was wrong. In the sea of consciousness, a glittering golden scroll appeared. The big characters on it were arrogant and unruly, with a domineering aura that could cut off all eternity. Li Wujie was shocked and thought silently in his heart, "Chaos Heavenly Sword Zhou." That the scroll slowly opened, and countless pieces of information poured into his mind. All kinds of exquisite sword skills were transformed into small figures and quickly demonstrated. Li Wujie was like a sponge, greedily absorbing the water of knowledge. In just a few seconds, Li Wujie was greatly shocked. Due to his excessive emotion, his face was so red that he was bleeding. He breathed rapidly and said, "What kind of sword technique is this? It's really too strong." Li Wujie, who has devoted his whole life to the art of swordsmanship, was immediately immersed in it after seeing the Chaos Heavenly Sword Zhou. Before, he thought he was quite accomplished in the art of swordsmanship, but now he just thinks it's vulgar, childish and ridiculous. Disciple Li Wujie, thank you master for giving me the Dharma. Li Wujie had tears in his eyes and kowtowed again excitedly. For a swordsman like him, a good swordsmanship is more important than life. Ahem. Suddenly, Li Wujie coughed up dark red blood. His breath was extremely weak, and he seemed to have thought of something. With a bitter look on his face, in the past, in order to fight for his life, he used secret techniques regardless of the consequences, which caused his body to be on the verge of collapse and his foundation to be seriously damaged. Even if he was lucky enough to survive, his future cultivation path would definitely be hindered. Master, I'm afraid my disciple will live up to your expectations. Li Wujie sighed regretfully. Yi Junlin smiled and said, "If you say anything stupid, take this pill first, and you will have unexpected changes." As he spoke, he took out a box containing the elixir and handed it over. Li Wujie took it carefully and opened it with anticipation. his eyes showing astonishment. This elixir has a terrible shape, is dark, and exudes a foul smell, a bit like a piece of dog shit. If you get it from any auction house, you will, % think it is someone who is causing trouble and be kicked out directly. Here, is this for me to eat? The corners of Li Wujia's mouth were twitching. If Yi Junlin hadn't given it to him personally, he would have really thought he was being tricked. Yi Junlin also froze on the spot. I didn't expect that the elixir given by the system looked so bad and was mixed with an unpleasant stench. Tongzi, you didn't lie to me, did you? Can this really help my apprentice activate the blood of the mad devil? Yi Junlin asked secretly. Ding, the host actually doubts the business level of this system. This system is really sad, woohoo. In his mind, the system's soft and sweet lolita sound sounded, along with the sound of someone crying softly after being bullied. It seems that after implanting the lowly voice pack, even the speaking style has changed. Okay, I believe you. Yi Junlin said helplessly. Then, he looked at Li Wujia, who looked embarrassed, and said seriously, what do you mean? Do you not believe in being a teacher? Where is the oath you just made? Heard, Li Wujia felt very guilty in his heart. How could he question his master? As long as it's master's order, so what if it's really bullshit? Master. It's my disciple's fault. I'm going to take this piece of shit. No, it's the elixir. Li Wujia endured the discomfort, stuffed the pill into his mouth and swallowed it. In an instant, the power of the medicine suddenly broke out in his body, turning into scalding heat flowing through his limbs. Master, I feel so uncomfortable. Suddenly, Li Wujia felt as if his whole body was on fire. His skin was as hot as a red-hot iron. The scars all over his body were healing rapidly. His eyes gradually turned scarlet. His face was twisted and ferocious. His white teeth were drooling, like a head. A ferocious beast that has lost its mind. Roar. Earth-shaking roars came from the mouth, causing countless people to cover their ears and look in pain. Oh my god, what happened to Sword Demon Li Wujia? I felt the strange aura on his body, and I suddenly felt very scared. Everyone, be careful, something is very wrong with him. Everyone was shocked and their scalps were numb. At this time, the aura all over Li Wujia's body was extremely terrifying. He pulled his hair with both hands and roared hysterically. His eyes were extremely red and he seemed to have lost his mind. Has the crazy bloodline been activated? Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. Ding, yes, but the activator will fall into a brief period of mania, unless a powerful force forcibly suppresses him. The system explained. Die to me. Li Wujia's cultivation level was rising steadily. From the early stage of the integration state to the perfection, he was only one step away from the Mahayana. At this time, his eyes burst out with terrifying blood, and he roared, boom. He released terrifying power all over his body, and waves of turbulent air raged in all directions. Many monks were shocked and fell back, with horrified expressions on their faces. Yi Shuxian, this is. The face of the ancestor of the Shui family changed. The other party is only in the early stage of the fusion realm, but it makes him feel a sense of fear deep in his heart, as if what he sees in front of him is not a human being, but a crazy demon born for killing. What on earth did that guy feed him? How could it suddenly become like this? Hong Qianye's face was full of disbelief. He had never seen such a bizarre state of increase. Kill. A loud drink. Li Wujia's face was crazy. He instinctively held the long knife and directly used the basic sword technique of Chaos Heavenly Sword Zhou. Immediately, the boundless sword energy soared into the sky, and the domineering sword force went forward with great force, with the posture of slaying the way of heaven. Yes, after activating the bloodline, it becomes even more powerful. Yi Junlin said with satisfaction. Suddenly, a strong wind roared in front of him, and Li Wujia's eyes were blood red, and he was holding a long knife and slashing hard at the top of his head. Chapter 56, Flattery is on the horse's leg. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Clang. A metallic trembling echoed through the sky. the flat transparent ripples were vast and boundless, and cracks appeared in major buildings. The long knife that Li Wujie swung with all his strength was knocked away by Yi Junlin with a flick of his finger. Roar! Li Wujie stepped back a few feet, roared, and was about to gather his sword strength again and launch an attack. Boom! In the void, a big blazing white hand fell. Every trace of its palm prints appeared, and it was filled with brilliant runes. Like the five-finger mountain that suppressed Monkey King, it directly suppressed Li Wujie, who had fallen into madness. The ground was shaking and billowing dust filled the air. Li Wujie roared hysterically, trying to break free from the big hand, but his strength was not worth mentioning in front of Yi Junlin. How can it be possible for someone in the combined body realm to exert such strength? That there was a certain upright supreme elder from a well-known family at the scene. He was at the peak of the Mahayana realm. After seeing the methods used by Li Wujie, he was so frightened that cold sweat broke out on his forehead, his mouth went dry, and he felt powerless from the bottom of his heart. If that knife had been his, even if he tried his best, he would still be unable to avoid the fate of death. Li Wujie, my master orders you to wake up immediately. Yi Junlin's face was serious, and his voice contained great magic power and reached the other party's ears. Aha! After hearing the master's voice, Li Wujie was startled at first, and his expression began to change crazily. The strong evil aura in his body gradually dissipated, and the redness in his eyes gradually faded, revealing a look of confusion. Master, what happened to me just now? Li Wujie was terrified in his heart. He vaguely remembered that he was like crazy, swinging a knife at the silver-haired young man in front of him. At that moment, he seemed to have lost himself, and his mind was filled with thoughts of killing. Even if he was the enemy of the whole world, it didn't matter. Check yourself carefully and see if there is anything different from before. Yi Junlin said. Hearing this, Li Wujie quickly checked himself, and after a while he said with surprise on his face, my realm has broken through to perfection, that this is not over yet. All the hidden dangers and damaged foundations that existed in his body have been resolved and become stronger. He is simply reborn. Li Wujie was very excited, knowing that this was all the fault of his master. Disciple thanked master. Yi Junlin nodded and secretly sent a message. Li Wujie, you have the blood of a crazy demon. Once this blood is stimulated, it will bring unimaginable power, but it cannot be maintained for a long time and you must know how to control it. Li Wujie was shocked. Thinking of his crazy state just now, a look of realization suddenly appeared on his face, and he immediately responded, yes, my disciple, please remember the master's teachings. Seeing this scene, the monks present looked envious. They knew that the sword demon Li Wujie had received great blessings, and this blessing was bestowed upon him by Yi Junlin. Congratulations to Yi Shuxian for accepting a good disciple. The ancestor of the Shui family came over with a smile on his face and enthusiastically said, why don't you go in and have a drink on this special day? Seeing the behavior of the ancestor of the Shui family, everyone looked strange. Who would have thought that this guy just killed two of his own people with his own hands? Yi Junlin glanced at him lightly. Isn't this a prestige? After all, this banquet is hosted by your Shui family, mainly to celebrate your breakthrough in tribulation. It's okay, I'm even happier. The ancestor of the Shui family shamelessly cast his kind eyes at Li Wujie and said kindly, little friendly, what do you think? Li Wujie sneered a few times and was too lazy to pay attention to the old dog. He felt disgusted with the Shui family from the bottom of his heart. After all, it was the other party who stopped him from killing Shui Tianyi. Okay, the matter has been dealt with. There is no point in staying any longer. Your Shui family can continue to celebrate. Remember to hold funerals later. Let's go. Yi Junlin turned and left. Congratulations to Yi Shuxian. Seeing this, the surrounding guests bowed their hands respectfully. The ancestor of the Shui family said with a smile on his face, Yi Shuxian, come often when you have time, the door of my Shui family will always be open to you. Bang, after being summoned, Kunpeng flew out from a deep mountain, carrying Yi Junlin and the others straight into the sky and traveling through the sky. Seeing the group of people walking away, the smile of the ancestor of the Shui family gradually disappeared. Thinking of the turmoil he encountered today, his face became livid with anger, and his originally good mood was ruined. Master! Master! I finally found the young master's hand. Suddenly, excited shouts came from the distance. A guard held a severed arm in both hands, raised his head excitedly, and ran over happily. The others suppressed their laughter until their faces turned red. Where is the head of the family? The guard was stunned, feeling that the atmosphere was a bit strange. Throw this evil hand into the backyard and feed it to the dogs. The ancestor of the Shui family became furious and shouted. Yes. The guard was trembling with fear. He didn't know why he was so angry. Ancestor, what about this banquet? An elder from the Shui family said tentatively. Disband immediately. Get out of here. The ancestor of the Shui family broke through the defense and roared almost out of control. Farewell. The guests present felt their scalps numb and hurriedly flew away from the Shui family floating island. This grand and luxurious banquet ended hastily. As for what happened this time, with the spread of this group of monks, it will cause a sensation in many Daozhou states in the eastern region. The sky is blue and clouds are billowing, the huge kunpeng is flying in the void. Li Wujie stood on it, feeling that everything was like a dream. Suddenly, his eyes stopped at that fiery red figure, and he saw that his facial features were exquisite, his eyebrows were picturesque, and he was not as beautiful as the mortal world should have. His skin was white and delicate, and he was naturally beautiful. Just standing there has an aura that captivates all living beings. For a moment, Li Wujie secretly sighed. The red fairy is indeed as beautiful as the rumors. Nowadays, apart from Yi Junlin, the person who is most discussed about Xiantian's sect in the outside world is his disciple Hong Qinya. Some people say that she is male-phobic and does not look kindly on any strange men who strike up a conversation. Others say that she has extremely high vision and only a unique man can conquer her. He hesitated for a while. Li Wujie made up his mind and decided to go over and say hello. After all, we were from the same sect and we would never see him again without looking up. Cough cough. Li Wujie coughed a few times and walked over with a smile on his face. Senior sister Hong is not only outstanding in talent, she is also stunningly beautiful. Please give me more guidance on my disciples' practice in the future. Hong Qinya looked at him sideways. Hong Qinya was already in a bad mood when she saw Yi Junlin kill Zhou Yangxu immortal. This meant that the gap between him and the opponent widened again. Now he has recruited a new junior brother with special physique, Hong Qinya. There was an inexplicable sense of crisis in my heart. Humph! Hong Qinya snorted coldly, turned around and walked away, leaving Li Wujie standing messily in the wind. Ah! Li Wujie's mouth twitched. Although he was mentally prepared, he didn't expect this woman to be so cold. Is there something wrong with what I said? Don't you like hearing compliments on your beauty? What a woman's heart, see needle. Hello. New junior brother Li. At this time, a childish and cute voice sounded from below. Li Wujie lowered his head and saw that it was a creature with a mouse head and a lolita body, saying hello to him in a friendly way. I've met senior sister Bai. Li Wujie knew its identity and said respectfully. Bai Xiaoxi was very happy to be called senior sister. Her furry rat face showed a shy look, and she intertwined her hands and said a little awkwardly, "Oh, I don't have to be so outspoken with Shu Shu." Li Wujie said in a deep voice, "Senior sister Bai, you still need to have some etiquette." All right. Bai Xiaoxi nodded and said seriously, "Zhu Shu is actually here to tell you that master's eldest disciple is actually a man. You have to call him senior brother Hong, otherwise he will be angry." What? Hearing this, Li Wujie felt as if he had been struck by thunder. The outside was scorched and the inside was tender. The expression on his face was full of shock, and his mouth opened wide. If Bai Xiaoxi hadn't said it himself, if it had been anyone else, he would have drawn his sword and angrily slashed away, thinking it was a naked slander. According to rumors, the famous red fairy is actually a man. Is this melon ripe? That's it. No wonder he treats all the men who please him with cold eyes, even if they dare to have a male lover. Li Wujie scratched his head and said with a wry smile, "Then what I just said slapped the horse on the leg." Chapter 57 Abyss Creatures. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After figuring out the truth, Li Wujie had no choice but to accept the fact that Hong Qianye was a man. When he saw the direction of travel, Li Wujie was a little confused and said, "Senior sister Bai, isn't this the route to Huangzhou?" Bai Xiaoxi tilted her head, as if reorganizing her words, and said, "Master said that he wants to travel all over the world, and experience the vicissitudes of the world." Li Wujie was stunned, and then sighed, "Master's realm is different. Such a carefree and free mind is really a role model for our generation." Yes, yes. Bai Xiaoxi scratched her head, a little embarrassed, because it just beautifies Yi Junlin's original words. In fact, the original words are like this: "It's so embarrassing, the labor and management's mount is so cool, you must show off everywhere. Ah Kuan, come to me." When Kunpeng was traveling for several months, what happened at the Shui family banquet also made many monks in the eastern region feel numb when they learned the news. Isn't Yi Junlin a venerable person? But a virtual immortal. Lord Juyang of the Yuhua sect broke through the tribulation and came to Yi Junlin specifically, but was killed instead. This is fishing. Who dares to provoke him in the future? I have been in the world of cultivation for many years, and I have never seen anything so outrageous. I express my condolences to fellow Taoist Juyang. If you want to blame me, it's Yi Junlin who is so shameless. He concealed his cultivation level over and over again. Damn it, is this guy still finished? Can't we keep some sincerity between people? Tea houses and taverns were all talking about it. Many monks even thought that Yi Junlin was an old monster who had lived for a long time and came to play games in the world. As for his current exposed ability to overcome tribulations, some people have begun to boldly speculate whether it is also on the surface. In short, you can't look at it from a normal perspective. Cangzhou, rich in aura and rich in resources, great Zhou dynasty, Rock City is currently facing an unprecedented crisis. The drums of war were beating loudly, and the shouts of killing were shaking the heaven and the earth. 100,000 soldiers wearing metal armor, riding tiger-leopard-like beasts, raised their swords high and charged like a meteor shower. In an instant, the killing force swept away. This is not an ordinary mortal army, but the world-famous tiger and leopard cavalry of the great Zhou dynasty. Every soldier inside has a golden core realm cultivation level and belongs to the elite among the elite. They rode tigers and leopards as fast as lightning. They communicated with each other's magic power when they formed a battle formation, and the terrifying sword light they swung had a superimposed amplification effect. With such a well-trained, tiger and leopard cavalry, even nascent soul monks would retreat when they saw them, fearing that they would get trapped and never come out. At this time, what they were fighting against was not the armies of other dynasties, but a group of sinister and ugly creatures with strange shapes. This is the Ghost Clan. Kill. Kill all these humans. A large group of ugly ghost creatures with different skin colors rushed toward the tiger and leopard cavalry. A fierce battle began. 100,000 tiger and leopard cavalry, more than half of them were lost in a short time. On the other hand, ghost creatures, even if they are seriously injured, will slowly recover from their injuries with the help of the black smoke coming from behind. This battle resulted in rivers of blood and corpses strewn everywhere. Defend to the Rock City. A scarred soldier shouted angrily, holding a long knife and slashing at the ghost creatures. Kill. The colleagues' eyes were red, and they rushed to kill without fear of life and death. The only thought in their minds was to protect the city behind them. Panchur City is filled with panic, women are holding their children and sobbing, and young and strong men are full of grief and anger. Far above 10,000 meters in the sky, Kunpeng happened to pass by this place. Master, there are ghost tribes below attacking the city. Li Wujie came over in a flash and handed over the report. Eat you! A powerful shout, Yi Junlin reached out and picked up his gun cart chess piece and landed directly on the enemy's handsome chess piece. Hong Qianye, who was sitting opposite, had her mouth twitching crazily. He has never seen such a shameless person in his life. Whose gun cart chess can forcefully cross the entire boundary river, ignore the obstacles of various chess pieces in front, and directly defeat the handsome chess player in the first step. During this period of time, apart from practicing, Hong Qianye also had to take time to serve Yi Junlin and cooperate with him in various ways of playing. For example, when we played chess this time, I thought that with my skillful chess skills, I could play as much abuse as I wanted, but in the end, this guy ignored the rules again and again and directly took his handsome chess pieces, such a dog. I am still playing with a hammer. Xiaohong, you are too good at this. If you don't have a single success as a teacher, you will lose everything. Yi Junlin threw away the chess pieces, crossed his arms and sighed. Hong Qianye resisted the urge to curse and said with a smile, Master, the artillery carriage needs to be set up, and the distance it can move is limited. This is a truth that even a 3-year-old child knows. Yi Junlin stared and said righteously, this is a mortar for my teacher. Isn't it okay? Fuck you mortars. Wait, what is a mortar? Hong Qianye was so angry that she almost fainted. She felt that this was another new word made up by the other party, just to win the victory through cheating openly. It seems that you are very dissatisfied. Are you questioning my master's chess skills? Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows with a warning in his tone. Disciple dare not. Hong Qianye was so frightened that she quickly lowered her head. Although he had broken through the Mahayana during this period and felt that there was no opponent within the Mahayana realm, in front of this person, he knew that he was still too weak. Xiao Shi, what do you think of my master's chess skills? Yi Junlin turned his head and asked the cute rat face behind him. Bai Xiaoxi was rubbing Yi Junlin's shoulder seriously. After seeing this, she nodded without thinking. Zhu Shu thinks that master is the most powerful. Hong Qianye saw this and cursed in her heart. This damn rat is really good at flattering. Hey, Xiao Shi still knows my level. Yi Junlin looked pleased, then looked at the unshaven middle-aged man. Xiao Li, what did you just say? Looking at the two masters and apprentices, Li Wujie resisted the urge to laugh. During this period of time, he has already seen his master. He is not as rigid and majestic as an old monster as rumored by the outside world. Instead, he has a rather strange style and thoughts that are different from ordinary people. Poor senior brother Hong became the biggest victim. What my disciple is saying is that a group of ghosts were found not far away attacking the city. The situation is very dangerous. Ghost tribe. Yi Junlin searched his brain memory and suddenly had relevant information. The ghost tribe is one of the major tribes belonging to the dark race. It comes from the ancient forbidden land called Abyss in the East Domain, which is the home base of many dark races. According to rumors, in ancient times, the abyssal creatures tried to invade the outside world. At that time, the human monks united and fought a large-scale battle with them. Later, the abyssal creatures were defeated and retreated. From then on, they lived in peace and harmony. Unexpectedly, there are ghost troops attacking the human city. Does this mean that the deadlock that has been maintained for thousands of years has been broken? In that case, let's go and take a look. Yi Junlin ordered. Kun, go over and help. Kunpeng made a cry like a whale, flapped its wings happily and rushed over. Smoke filled the air below, shouts of killing resounded from all directions, and the battlefield was devastated. Jia 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 Jia, stop making fearless resistance. Taking this city is just the beginning. Other fortresses will be attacked by our ghost clan, and the entire dynasty will soon be destroyed. The leading ghost general looked fierce and sneered. It rides a white bone horse burning with green flames, and holds an ancient spear intertwined with runes. It has an extraordinary momentum and a sense of oppression. Shut up, you can't succeed. The middle-aged commander roared, riding the alien beast and slashing it with a big knife. With his nascent soul cultivation level, coupled with the increase brought by the battle formation, his strength is very powerful, and he can be said to be the genius level of the sect. Clang clang clang. The sound of metal clashing was extremely dense, and turbulent air waves spread out. The ghost general held a spear and fought back and forth with the middle-aged commander, but as the black mist was absorbed, its condition got better and better. As for the tiger and leopard cavalry, due to the continuous reduction of personnel, the support of the battle formation is also shrinking, making the middle-aged commander gradually fall at a disadvantage. Chi. The ghost general held a spear, dragging the dark evil energy, charging up the energy to shatter the void and hit the middle-aged leader's chest. Not good. The middle-aged commander quickly resisted with his sword, but the impact was so strong that he flew backwards from his mount and vomited blood. Commander Wang. The rest of his men, with eyes split open, rushed up to protect Wang Defa, but they were blocked by the ghost creatures with ferocious smiles on their faces. Wang Defa held a black gold sword and stood up from the ground with difficulty. He watched the terrifying figure riding a bone horse getting closer and closer. When he heard the roars in his ears, he felt very weak in his heart. If this continues, not only will all the brothers die, but Rock City will also fall, and as the Ghost General said, this level is just the beginning, and the Zhou dynasty will definitely be in trouble this time. Despicable human beings, kneel down for me, General. The Ghost General said arrogantly. Wang Defa's eyes were straight and he shouted angrily, I am the commander of the Tiger and Leopard Cavalry appointed by the Emperor of Zhou dynasty. I represent the face of Zhou dynasty. How can I kneel down to a beast like you? If you want to kill or behead me, just let the horse come over. Very good, I will do as you wish. The Ghost General laughed angrily, piercing the sky with a spear in his hand. His momentum was extremely powerful, and he wanted to nail Wang Defa directly to the city wall. Sudden, there was a huge rumble in the sky, a terrifying king's pressure swept across the entire battlefield instantly, and all the soldiers who were still fighting, or the ghosts, were like clay statues, daring not to move, looking deep into the sky, the huge figure piercing through the clouds, his eyes showed deep horror. Then, what is that? The Ghost General said in silence. At this moment, an unimaginable attraction burst out from Kunpeng's mouth. The ghost creatures present looked horrified and found that they could not control themselves at all, and they all flew towards the abyss-like mouth. Do not. The Ghost General wanted to escape, but was also sucked in. Frightened voices sounded one after another. It didn't take long for Kunpeng to eat all the food. It swayed playfully and then let out an earth-shattering burp. The defenders of Rock City were stunned and almost suspected that they were hallucinating. Is this a divine beast descended from heaven to protect me, de Zhou? Wang Defa murmured, forgetting the pain in his body. Chapter 58. Something is wrong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With a rumble, Kunpeng came riding the mighty air current. The defenders put down their weapons and knelt down to worship. Thank you to the mythical beast for protecting the people of Great Zhou. That the shouts were like an overwhelming wave. Now that the ghost clan is attacking, it happens to appear at this time. Could it be that this is my auspicious beast of the Great Zhou dynasty? That just as Wang Defa was guessing about Kunpeng's origin, a clear voice came from Kunpeng. Come up here and tell me what's going on. In an instant, the boiling cheers fell into silence. The defenders looked at each other with astonishment in their eyes. It turns out that this mythical beast has an owner. Wang Defa was startled, and suddenly realized that it was a human being who happened to be passing by, and then he took action to help them. Immediately, Wang Defa suppressed his excitement and rushed towards Kunpeng. Swish. Wang Defa landed on the broad back and saw a magnificent palace and 4 figures that he did not dare to neglect, lowered his head and held his hands in hand, and said in a respectful tone, Little Tiger and Leopard Cavalry Commander Wang Defa, I have met all the seniors. Answer me, which dynasty does this place belong to, and why does this ghost army want to attack you? Junlin sat lazily on the recliner, took the milk tea from Bai Xiaoxi, and drank it with a straw in his mouth. Wang Defa's eyes widened. He knew that the person sitting was the one with the highest status among the 4 people, this aura, this style, a real boss level. Senior, this is the territory of the Great Zhou dynasty. I don't know why they are attacking Great Zhou, but according to the dead ghost generals, Great Zhou will be fully attacked by the ghost tribe in a while. When the time comes, it will definitely be a fierce battle. Heard. Junlin frowned. Abyssal creatures attack the human kingdom with such great fanfare. Are they not afraid of triggering another crusade from human monks? After all, the Ghost Clan is a major clan in the underworld, and even it did this blatantly. Maybe the other dark races also have this intention. Li Wujia pondered. The ghost tribe likes a dark and humid environment. What are the benefits of capturing the Great Zhou? Hong Qianye said lightly. Why are you thinking so much? If they come, just destroy them. Hearing this, Wang Defa felt happy in his heart. He looked at the figure in red who was as beautiful as a fairy. He cupped his hands and said tentatively, Fairy, do you want to help me, de Zhou? tide over the difficulties? The little one is here first. On behalf of the people of Great Zhou, thank you for your great kindness. Ha! Hong Qinya sneered, looking away directly, as if it had nothing to do with him. Wang Defa looked embarrassed, but after thinking about it carefully, he felt it was understandable. After all, it was a chance meeting, so why should others wade into this muddy water? Junlin rubbed his chin, vaguely feeling that there was a mystery behind this, when a familiar system prompt sounded in his mind. Ding, congratulations to the host for triggering the mission and defeating the ghost army that invaded the Zhou dynasty. You will get good rewards after completing it. Okay, in that case, let's temporarily use this place as our foothold to see if we can get any clues from the ghosts. Junlin made up his mind, cleared his throat, straightened his waist, and said in a deep voice. The alien race is causing trouble and killing innocent people indiscriminately. As a powerful human race, I cannot ignore death without saving it. If you tell me, I will take action. Wang Defa felt that there was no hope at first, but his eyes lit up at the other party's words. He half knelt on the ground in excitement, clasped his fists and said, Senior, Dazhou will always remember your kindness. He felt that this would be a turn of events. Even this supreme beast was used as a mount. How powerful must the owner of this beast be? With this person making a promise, everyone in the world will be safe. Li Wujia admired him. Master is wise. He actually wanted to stay and help Zhou, just because he was a monk born and raised in the eastern region and was very resistant to the invasion of creatures from the abyss. Hong Qinya curled her lips and said secretly, You are really nosy. By the way, what do you call me, Senior? Where do you come from? Wang Defa asked cautiously. Xian Tianzong, Yi Junlin. Yi Junlin took a sip of milk tea. Boom. Wang Defa felt as if he had been struck by lightning, his head buzzing, combining the rumors he had heard before and the other person's image characteristics. He realized that the person in front of him was the white-haired murderer who was in the limelight recently and was famous far and wide. The ruthless man who repeatedly stepped on and rubbed the face of the immortal sect in the eastern region. Yi, Venerable Yi, I admire you so much. Wang Defa said with cold sweat on his forehead and a smile on his face, trembling with fear, dressed in a solemn black robe embroidered with gold, coupled with eye-catching silver-white hair. No wonder he always feels that this combination is inexplicably familiar. It's just that Wang Defa preconceived the idea and imagined Yi Junlin, who was rumored to be respected by everyone, as an old monster with gray hair. I never expected that she actually looked so young. Venerable. Yi Junlin looked a little strange. It seemed that the news here was lagging behind, and he didn't know what happened at the banquet. But it doesn't matter, it's just a title. Let's go, take me to see your holy lord. Yes. Rumble. Kunpeng passed by Panchur city, and the people below knelt down to thank the mythical beast for its protection. Wang Defa was in an extremely excited mood, holding a flag with the word Dazhou on it, and stood at the front and was responsible for clearing the way. When the crisis in Panchur city was resolved, cities in various places were attacked by the ghost army one after another, and the war burned at an incredible speed, thousands of miles away from the capital. 60 of the most elite Zhou troops are stationed there. The ground was densely packed with giant bronze elephants, on which sat soldiers with silvery brilliance, holding a spear with a metallic luster. The warships covered the sky and the sun, creating a sense of oppression. Countless archers bent their bows and pulled their strings, and their arrows gathered energy like a storm. With this kind of lineup, even if the gods come, they will die, and even the great masters of the fusion realm will have to weigh it. At this time, the Zhou army was ready to resist the coming ghost army. Inside the military tent, looking at the red dots marked on the map, several Zhou generals wearing armor were discussing the war. Just now, there have been multiple groups of ghost troops that have broken through our defense lines and are following the nearest road with the intention of taking our capital city directly. It can be seen that they want a quick victory. According to battle reports from across the country, there have been many ghost generals suspected of being in the fusion realm, and it is not even ruled out that there are ghost commanders in the Mahayana realm taking charge. Speaking of this, their expressions were full of solemnity. At this time, a general hesitated for a while and said, This time the ghost clan suddenly went to war and insisted on occupying my palace in the great Zhou dynasty. Could it be that our great Zhou dynasty has some treasure that they covet? As soon as these words came out, the expressions of several other colleagues changed slightly. He quietly looked at the majestic man next to him wearing a golden battle armor and a red cape. This is the crown prince established by Zhou dynasty and the heir to Emperor Zhou. The prince muttered, His Royal Highness knows what you mean, but unfortunately, I, the prince, don't know either. Your Highness, the last general was rude just now. The general who spoke looked embarrassed and admitted his mistake with his fists clasped. The prince waved his hands and said in a deep voice, It doesn't matter. This time the ghost tribe invades in large numbers. What we have to do is to resist it as much as possible. If it is really unstoppable, then we will protect more people from the country and evacuate the country. As long as the people are still there, everything will be done. There is hope. The prince cares so much about the common people, it is really our great fortune. The general sighed, the prince sighed, Hey, this is just the worst plan. I hope that other forces in Sangzhou, for the sake of being a human race, can lend a helping hand to help me, Dazhou, resist the ghost race. At this moment, there was a sudden noise outside the military tent. Chapter 59 My disciples are killing each other. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It's strange. Could it be that the ghost tribe came here? A general looked surprised, the voice just fell. A deputy general rushed into the military tent and shouted, Report to the prince, there is a new situation outside. Go and take a look. Could it be that the ghost tribe is playing another trick? The prince's heart sank slightly, and he led several generals out of the military tent, when they saw a huge strange creature on the horizon, swooping down on the majestic air current. Their expressions suddenly changed and they couldn't believe it. What kind of strange beast is this? A general's scalp was numb and he asked anxiously, Why does this kind of thing appear in our great Zhou dynasty? Quickly order all the soldiers to prepare for war and stop it. Don't act recklessly, this is the divine beast Kunpeng. The prince scolded sternly, looking at the behemoth in awe, but what shocked him the most was seeing Wang Defa's figure. Someone is holding high the banner of my great Zhou dynasty. Ha! I recognize him, that's Commander Wang of the Tiger and Leopard Cavalry. A general almost thought he was mistaken, but after double-checking, he exclaimed. What? Everyone was dumbfounded. Wang Defa held up a flag in his hand, and the flag fluttered in the wind. It could be said that he stole the show and felt very happy in his heart. When Kunpeng came to the military tent, Wang Defa immediately flew to the ground, knelt on one knee, and said respectfully, Commander of the Tiger and Leopard Cavalry, I have met His Highness the Crown Prince. The prince quickly asked, Commander Wang, what is going on? Does this divine beast have something to do with me, the great Zhou dynasty? Wang Defa said in a deep voice, Your Highness, this divine beast has an owner, and that person has promised to help me, de Zhou. Hiss. Everyone gasped, using Kunpeng as a mount, who in the entire eastern region is so awesome. The prince was also shocked by this, but what made him feel the biggest emotional wave was the information revealed in the second half of the sentence. Commander Wang, are you serious about this? Is that senior really willing to help me, de Zhou, tide over the difficulties? Exactly, the prince was very happy to have such a powerful help, and suddenly felt that there was hope for Dazhou. What do you call this senior? After everything is done, I, de Zhou, will definitely repay him. Reporting to His Highness the Crown Prince, that senior is called Yi Junlin. Heard, the prince was stunned at first, his heart skipped a beat, and he asked tentatively, Yi Junlin? Is he the white-haired murderer of the Shentian sect? Wang Defa was frightened and hurriedly lowered his voice and said, Your Highness, please be careful. Lord Yi is actually a very easygoing person, not as cruel as the rumors say. Everyone swallowed their saliva. The word easygoing doesn't seem to have anything to do with him, right? Because of him, the Yuhua sect lost an army of millions of monks, including 18 core elders of the Mahayana realm. This is all real. The prince adjusted his breathing, took a few steps forward, and said with a respectful tone. Prince Zhou, I have met Master Yi. that he didn't dare to be negligent in the slightest. If someone was unhappy, he would probably raise the capital to the ground. I am afraid that the 60 troops in my hands are not even qualified to warm up others. Rumbling, suddenly, on the distant horizon, the overwhelming black fog spread like a wave. 80 sinister creatures rushed out, wearing mottled armor and holding various weapons. Their ugly faces were full of ferocity, and their eyes burst out with bloodthirsty red light. Jia jia jia, you humans, if you know what you are doing, surrender obediently and become sacrifices to my ghost clan. A series of joking and ferocious laughter echoed in the sky. The prince's face was sullen, and he was about to say something when he heard a slightly unhappy voice coming from Kunpeng. Damn. You too, go and deal with them all. Yes, master. Swish. Immediately afterwards, Hong Qianye and Li Wujie rushed away respectively, turning into rainbow lights to face the mighty ghost army. Behind the ghost tribe, 10 ghost commanders exuding a terrifying aura were hiding in the black mist, observing secretly, and communicating with each other. It's ridiculous that conquering this human country called Great Zhou actually requires us to use so much force. Everyone, please don't be careless. It is said that this kind of dynasty is different from the sect. It usually has the blessing of national fortune. The Ghost King is also cautious and wants to test the bottom line of the Zhou Emperor. No matter what, between 80 and 60, the advantage is mine. The most important thing is that this time the hundreds of tribes in the underworld are born together. Our ghost tribe must seize the opportunity. This is a major event related to the rise and fall of the entire tribe. Yes, this world will fall sooner or later anyway. When the people in charge of the eastern region change, we will also have a certain say because of our meritorious service. At the same time, Hong Qianye and Li Wujie landed not far from the ghost tribe's army, watching the mighty ghost tribe creatures surging towards them. Senior brother Hong, junior brother, my sword skills are poor, so I will show my shame first. Li Wujie looked forward, the corners of his mouth raised crazily. He could no longer hold back the murderous intention in his heart. He firmly grasped the handle of the knife with his right hand and suddenly pulled out the long black knife. Swish. At this moment, Li Wujie's aura suddenly changed, from a bohemian swordsman to a demon who seemed to want to slaughter the people. Cut. Cold voices echoed in all directions. Qi La, the jet-black sword light swept away and turned into a huge mouth of the abyss to swallow a large number of ghost creatures. Ah ah ah. The screams were heartbreaking. Many ghost creatures were scared out of their wits. Which strong human being was responsible for this? With just one strike, he could kill, enemies. Li Wujie breathed out a heavy breath, recalling the move just now. He still felt that it was still a little imperfect. Boom. At this time, a terrifying momentum like a volcanic eruption came from around him. The surrounding temperature suddenly rose crazily, making the mouth dry. Hong Qianye stirred up the surging magic power in her body. Her black hair was flying wildly, and her aura was very powerful. He made a secret with one hand and moved his fingers farther away. Whoosh, whoosh, the red gold flames covered the sky and the earth, even forming ripples in the void. What? Wherever the red gold flames covered the area, there were bursts of shrill wails, and countless ghost creatures were burned to ashes. No, stop it. Among them, dozens of fusion realm ghost generals were shocked, releasing boiling ghost energy from their bodies, and joined forces to use their strength to resist, trying to save the situation, but their struggles are destined to be in vain. Soon, each one was caught in the fire and died on the spot. Of the 70 ghost army, 40 were gone in the blink of an eye. It's just terrifying. Li Wujie sighed. Senior brother Hong is so strong, I admire him. Haha. The corners of Hong Qianye's mouth slightly curled up unnoticeably, and she felt a little complacent. Even if that shameless guy takes in a freak, I, Hong Chiba, will still be the strongest senior brother. Let's fight quickly and don't make people laugh. Hong Qianye said calmly. Swish. The next second, he was surrounded by raging flames and flew away with terrifying power. There was scorched earth along the way, and the scene was shocking. Li Wujie nodded and said seriously, Senior brother Hong is right, we can't embarrass our master. Holding a long sword in his hand, he flew up and used his sword skills. If he fell into the ghost army, he would be killed indiscriminately. Under the attack of these two people, the ghost army suffered heavy casualties in a short time, and their numbers dropped sharply at an incredible speed. If this continues, they will all be wiped out soon. Saw such a brutal scene, all the Zhou soldiers were so frightened that their faces were pale and their hands and feet were cold. Okay, so strong. Several generals swallowed their saliva, and beads of sweat broke out on their foreheads. The prince's hair was numb and the muscles on his face were twitching. He is worthy of being the apprentice of the white-haired killing god, and he has indeed inherited his style. I thought it would be a fierce battle, but I didn't expect it to be so clean and tidy. Damn it! Who are these two human races? In the black mist at the rear, the 10 ghost commanders were shocked and angry. What happened in front of them made them anxious. At this juncture, it seems that he is a powerful person enshrined by the Zhou dynasty. We must take action to kill him. No one can stop my ghost clan's plan. Superior. At this time, Hong Qinya flashed in the air, raising his hand to kill thousands of ghost creatures. Suddenly he noticed something, looked at the source, and sneered, the interesting thing is coming. Boom, accompanied by a huge boom, 10 majestic figures exuding majestic ghostly aura swept towards the sky, covered in ancient armor with runes drawn on them, and each held various swords, clubs, halberds and other weapons. What a strong aura! This is a ghost commander from the Mahayana realm, that the prince and others exclaimed. The weakest ones are all in the middle stage of Mahayana, and the strongest ones are at the peak of Mahayana. You two human races, go to hell. A green-haired ghost commander in the middle stage of Mahayana took the lead and stabbed hard with a pitch-black halberd. Just let me practice my skills. Li Wujia's face was excited, he just wanted to test his upper limit, and he couldn't wait to use his sword skills to attack. Swish. The sword light shattered the void, carrying the momentum of cutting off the heavens. Puff. The green-haired ghost handsome couldn't believe it. He watched the euphorbia in his hand break, and there was a tearing pain in his chest, and then green blood spurted out. Its heart is full of fear. When did the human race's fusion realm monks become so powerful? This kind of combat power across a large realm has been rare in the entire Ming Yuan for thousands of years. Didn't you die with one strike? Then I'll strike again. Li Wujie felt that he couldn't bear the loss, so he swung the sword with all his strength and slashed out again. Swish. A destructive blade flashed past. Boom, the green-haired ghost commander didn't even have time to scream, and was annihilated by this terrifying sword light. How can it be? The 9 ghost commanders felt like they were struck by lightning. The prince and others were stunned and murmured, are all the disciples of Master Yi so fierce? Chapter 60 Emperor Zhou. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What a fucking pleasure. Li Wujie laughed, holding the long knife and continuing to slash at other ghost commanders. Kill this guy. The leader of the purple-haired ghost shouted angrily, holding a trident and stabbing it with the evil wind. The other ghost commanders used their killing moves one after another, and the terrifying evil energy surged out, covering the sky and the sun, and the power was frightening. Rumble. After being hit by 9 energy filled with evil aura, Li Wujie's expression changed and he realized that he was still too reluctant. How about trying to use the blood of the crazy demon? Li Wujie thought to himself, gritting his teeth, his eyes gradually turning red. Swish. At this time, scorching heat filled all directions, and countless blue flames containing sacred aura emerged. Sapphire glazed fire. Hong Qinya flicked her sleeves violently, and countless green flames swept away, forcibly interrupting the attack of the ghost commanders. 6 ghost commanders in the middle stage of Mahayana screamed repeatedly, their whole bodies were quickly burned by green flames, and they were annihilated in the air after a while. Human woman, I want you to pay with your life. The purple-haired ghost handsome was furious, holding the trident above his head and releasing vast energy fluctuations. On the trident, the violent evil energy shot straight into the sky, and the entire sky dimmed, as if a terrible natural disaster was about to come. As the purple-haired ghost commander is at the pinnacle of Mahayana, if he attacks with all his strength, he will be almost unbeatable in the entire great Zhou dynasty. cold sweat broke out on Li Wujia's forehead, and he quickly retreated far away, looking at the purple-haired ghost handsome with pity-filled eyes. Huh, it's too late to be afraid now. Both you and this stinky woman will die. When the other two late-stage Mahayana ghost commanders saw this, cruel smiles appeared on their faces, and they felt like they were about to turn the tables. Hiss. Hearing this, Li Wujie gasped and retreated several hundred meters again. As predicted, an unimaginable terrifying momentum erupted, making people tremble with fear. Hong Chinya's hair was all wavy, her face was as cold as frost, and her eyes were filled with murderous intent. The cold and ruthless voice was full of murderous intent, echoing throughout the vast world. You will die to me. As he raised his hand, endless black fire emerged from the void, with the power to devour everything, sweeping towards those figures boiling with ghost energy. No. The fear in the eyes of the two late Mahayana ghost commanders almost overflowed, and they were swallowed up by the strange black fire. What is this? The purple-haired ghost commander looked horrified, and in desperation, he held a trident and pierced through it. Chill, the trident releases countless streaks of dark purple lightning, each of which contains extremely destructive power. A terrible phenomenon occurred, countless rays of dark purple lightning struck the black flames, but were swallowed up completely. This is impossible. The purple-haired ghost handsome man was so frightened that he lost all fighting spirit after seeing this scene, and turned around to flee the scene, but unfortunately, it's too late. Black flames fell on it, and the purple-haired ghost handsome felt that all his flesh and blood, including his soul, were being absorbed crazily. This was an indescribable and huge pain. Ah 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 ah. The screams were heartbreaking. In just a few seconds, the purple-haired ghost handsome disappeared completely. As for the remaining ghost creatures, they were also devoured by black fire. On the devastated battlefield, only the whine of the cold wind could be heard. The officers and soldiers of the great Zhou dynasty looked in disbelief, filled with deep fear in their hearts towards that arrogant red-clothed figure. The red fairy is truly a beauty. The prince murmured his lips for a while before speaking out these words with difficulty. Why do I think this is a female devil? A general muttered in a low voice, but was so frightened by his colleagues that he poked him with his elbow, signaling to shut up. At this time, Hong Chinya's face gradually softened, and she sneered, "You ants who don't know whether to live or die." Hong Chinya turned her head and glanced at Li Wujie, who was hiding far away. He didn't say anything and left to return to his life. Li Wujie sighed. Senior brother Hong, after being furious, is simply invincible in the same realm. He is worthy of being the first disciple accepted by master. The next second, Li Wujie thought of something. He held the handle of the knife tightly with his right hand, the corners of his mouth raised crazily, and his eyes flashed with excitement. Hey, that's good. If we start fighting, I can slash him like crazy. Okay. Hong Chinya seemed to feel something, and a chill ran down her back. She suddenly turned her head and saw that Li Wujie had followed silently. He turned his head suspiciously and whispered secretly, "Is it just my imagination, that when the two of them landed on Kunpeng, they bowed their heads and said, 'Master, according to your instructions, everything has been resolved.'" Result, there was no response from the front. Li Wujie said anxiously, "Oops, is it because master is dissatisfied? What is this guy doing again?" Hong Chinya raised her head tentatively, almost making her nose crooked with anger. On the recliner in front of me, I saw a handsome young man lying on his back with no image. His eyes were wearing sky-blue goggles, and there was diarrhea from the corner of his mouth, and he was falling into a deep sleep. He looked unshakable and completely out of tune with the outside world. "Master, wake up quickly," Bai Xiaoxi whispered in her ear. Yi Junlin woke up slowly and took off his blindfold. "Has it been solved?" "Yes, all the enemy troops have been wiped out by us." Hong Chinya said through gritted teeth, resisting the urge to rush up and beat him up. Yi Junlin stretched out and came between the two of them, stretched out his hand and patted their shoulders respectively, with a leader's praised tone. "Well done, keep up the good work." Then, he straightened his back and walked with his hands behind his back. "Thank you master for the compliment." Li Wujie was very excited. Hong Chinya curled her lips and cursed secretly, "You have agreed to take action, but together you have to ask us to do the work." Underneath, the prince and the others felt uneasy. At this time, I saw a young man in black robe walking towards him with his hands behind his back. He had long, silver-white shawl hair, all of which were shiny. His face was plump and handsome, and his whole body exuded the aura of a banished immortal. "Meet Master Yi." That the prince looked shocked and quickly bowed his hands. Everyone raised their hands and said in unison, "Greetings to Master Yi. Now that the crisis is over, why don't you, Zhou, treat me well?" Yi Junlin smiled. The prince said respectfully, "Venerable Yi, you are our most distinguished guest, and Zhou will definitely treat you warmly." That Yi Junlin nodded. He came down specifically because he wanted to experience the local fireworks. The group of people traveled through the clouds and mist to the prosperous capital city. The news about the destruction of the ghost army had been spread back to the city in advance. The people in the capital cheered and were full of joy. "Look, that's Venerable Yi. It's said that he was the one who destroyed the ghost army." A tea house owner exclaimed. "Your Excellency, please bow down to me." Many people rushed over and worshipped excitedly. Countless compliments came one after another, all about Yi Junlin. In short, they praised him to the sky. Yi Junlin sighed, "Hey, this is obviously the work of my apprentice, how can it be said to be mine?" Ahem. The prince looked embarrassed. He had almost finished walking this street, and you mentioned this? Hearing this, Li Wujie said without hesitation, "As disciples, our contribution is the contribution of our master." Hong Qinya showed contempt. "This person is really spineless." "Xiaohong, what do you think?" Yi Junlin asked seriously. Hong Qinya immediately said solemnly, "I think junior brother Li is absolutely right. You can teach me, I'm a teacher and I'm not in vain." Yi Junlin said happily. Inside the palace, all civil and military officials in the dynasty were looking forward to it. "Welcome to Master Yi." That when they saw the silver-haired young man accompanying the prince, they all immediately understood his identity and immediately raised their hands in admiration. This was a ruthless man who single-handedly wiped out millions of monks from the Yuhua sect. Looking at the entire country, except for Emperor Zhou, he had no rivals. The prince said solemnly, "Master Yi, my father is waiting for you inside." "Oh," Yi Junlin raised his eyebrows. This old boy was quite impressive, so he sat inside and waited for him to come over. At this time, a mellow voice came with an apology, "Master Yi, please forgive me for not being able to greet you from a distance. I am really inconvenienced." Yi Junlin walked into the hall, looking stunned. There is a middle-aged man in front of him wearing a dragon robe and a flat crown on his head. He is sitting on a dragon chair with a majestic face. He is exuding a blazing white halo and is enveloped by some kind of power. He seems to be recovering from his injuries. Or maybe it's in a state of adaptation. This is the contemporary Emperor Zhou of the great Zhou dynasty.